Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm Sam, and joining me today is Taylor. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive into a place where time seems to stand still, yet, well, every stone pulses with legend. Chettinad, right in the heart of Tamil Nadu. We're going to unpack the incredible story of the merchant kings of Chettinad, using some really vivid accounts from the merchant kings of Chettinad, a journey into the mansions of memory and might by Five Senses Tours. Our mission today is to uncover how this community of, ambitious traders built an empire of wealth and architectural splendor that still amazes us today.
It really is a remarkable story, Sam. What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how the Chettiars, through just sheer mercantile prowess, sculpted this kingdom whose legacy, in many ways, outshone even ancient kings. And they left behind these magnificent homes as a testament, really, to their global reach and that unique blend of ambition and artistry.
Absolutely. So let's start by just stepping into this living heritage. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. Imagine dawn breaking, winding through these dusty boulevards, big sprawling mango trees, in a sleepy town called Karakudi. The sources we looked at paint this picture of stately mansions, gazing back watchful, silent yet brimming with stories. Our guide in the account, Ramu, he often says that every brick here, every arch and pillar, sings of the Chettiar merchants, once among the most powerful and wealthy in all of Asia. It's quite an impression to start with.
It really is. It sets the scene perfectly.
Now, picture stepping through a huge teak door into a central courtyard. It's flooded with morning light. Maybe you see silent ancestors in these fading oil portraits. And your fingers might trace these colossal Burma teak pillars that, as the description puts so vividly, journeyed farther than most sailors dared. This wasn't just a house. It was a statement, wasn't it?
A massive statement. And thinking about this more broadly, these weren't just wealthy individuals building big houses. These were merchant princes. Their financial networks, their influence, it literally spanned continents. They became absolute pivotal players in the economic landscape of British Asia. Really crucial.
That really puts their impact into perspective. So who exactly were these Chettiars, these merchant kings? They're often called the children of the ocean. Originally, seafaring traders. Their ships went from Coromandel's harbors out to ports all across the Indian Ocean world, Ceylon, Burma, Vietnam, Malaya.
Right, places that became central to their operations later on.
Yeah, and oral tradition tells the story. Centuries ago, apparently a huge tsunami drowned their original coastal towns, so they were forced inland, and they had to rebuild, adapt. But they didn't just survive, they sort of redefined themselves. They put their skills into trade, gems, and mainly this very sophisticated system of money lending.
Money lending. That became key.
It really did. It positioned them for something massive in the centuries that followed.
So the important question is, how did they become so indispensable, particularly during the British Empire era? They were known as the Natukutai Chettiars, which means lords of fortune from the country forts. It refers to those impressive inland mansions, sort of economic forts, even while their business was overseas. The source highlights them as financiers and bankers across British Asia. They just had this amazing ability to bridge cultures, languages, currencies, Rangoon, Malacca. They basically became the financial backbone for these new economies. Singapore, Malaya, Burma. Think about it. A Chettiar draft, which was like a super trusted personal IOU recognized everywhere in their network, could launch a whole rice crop. Or, as the accounts mentioned, it could even restore a bankrupt colonial officer to solvency. Their trustworthiness was just legendary.
It's incredible to think about. Within just a few generations, these families controlled immense wealth. They shaped trade routes, financed huge plantations, even funded governments. And here's where it gets really interesting. Their global reach was truly extraordinary for their time, just astounding.
Absolutely. Operating on a scale it's hard to fathom without today's technology.
And this tidal wave of prosperity, as the source calls it, that's what built Chettinad's famous mansions. And they are, wow, truly something to see. Imagine stepping into this labyrinth of sunlit courtyards. You see translucent Belgian glass, Italian marble floors. Walking through these homes, you just marvel at their appetite for global craftsmanship. No two are alike. Each one is like a museum, a gallery of ambition, tells its own story.
Each one unique, yeah.
The details are just incredible. One roof might have stained glass peacocks, another mythic dragons, each design a memory of some distant port, some old deal maybe. And under your feet you hear this musical tinkle of Athangudi tiles.
Ah, the Athangudi tiles, they're special.
Yeah, they really are. They're not ceramic, right?
Yeah.
They're handmade cement tiles, pressed one by local artisans. Gives each home this unique, cool, really durable floor. It sings of local craft and family identity. It's a whole sensory experience.
Yeah. It is. And beyond just the wealth, the design of these mansions, it really gives you a window into their worldview, their global outlook, and also their complex social structure. You have the 9 great temple clans. They govern not just rituals, but also marriages, business alliances, basically acting as these decentralized social and economic regulators, kept trust and cohesion across their huge networks. These echoing halls, they were more than just homes. This is where big decisions were made. Fortunes wagered on, fragile monsoons or markets miles away. The architecture itself speaks volumes.
Yeah, it does. And the anecdotes really bring it home. Mrs. Valyapa, one of the hosts, mentioned she recalls her grandfather. He sailed to Rangoon with nothing but a ledger and came home with a shipload of teak and a suitcase of pearls. But, she says, what he cherished most was the trust of his word. His honor traveled farther than the ships. That just paints such a clear picture of their values, doesn't it? Trust was their currency.
Absolutely. That honor, that trust was everything.
And think about the education that Chettiar kids got. They grew up hearing stories of golden pagodas, rubber forests, learning to calculate interest in multiple currencies before they could even ride a bike. Imagine that head start in global finance and culture.
Talk about preparation for a complex world.
So, okay, they reached this incredible peak. But power, as we know, often attracts envy, and circumstances change. Their fortunes rose with the colonial tide, but then World War II happened. And that changed everything, didn't it? A real turning point.
A major turning point. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the war's aftermath was tough. Foreign assets were seized, often lost completely, and then new independent nations across Asia, they started to push back against what they saw as foreign moneylenders, external economic control. Plus, as independent India's own national banks started emerging, the traditional Chettiar businesses found themselves kind of outpaced. The whole landscape shifted.
Right, the world changed around them.
Exactly. It was this combination of geopolitical shifts, economic nationalism.
Yeah.
It led to many mansions falling silent, their grandeur fading. But it also forced many families to pivot, divest assets, move into new industries within India, showed their adaptability even then.
So it wasn't a complete end. The spirit endured.
Definitely. Resilience is part of the story, too.
And today, many of those great houses are living again, finding new life, celebrating that history.
Which is wonderful to see.
So what does this mean for you if you're listening, maybe thinking of visiting? Chettinad today is this living legend. It offers an incredible journey back. These grand homes are now elegant boutique hotels, living museums, really welcoming homestays. You might get swept into a wedding in a courtyard, feast on that famous fiery Chettinad cuisine. It's very much alive.
Food alone is worth the trip.
Oh, absolutely. And you can really dive in. Imagine walking through the palace streets of Karaikudi and Kenadukathan. Every building has a story. You could visit the clan temples, remember? There were nerve centers for the community. Explore antique shops. They're overflowing with treasures. Old iron safes, brass-studded chests, jade cutlery, that distinctive Chettinad jewelry.
Forever brailed treasure troves.
Definitely. And you absolutely have to join a traditional Chettiar feast. The recipes are guarded secrets passed down for generations. Every bite tells a story.
What's really fascinating, too, is that sense of timelessness you get there. The source mentions it's impossible to say if this was 1925 or 2025. Elders still tell the old legends, Ceylon rubies, fortunes made, fortunes lost maybe over filter coffee or some fiery rasam. Every crumbling wall, it feels like it's held together not just by mortar, but by drama, ambition, and memory. History isn't just in a museum. It's woven into daily life.
So, yeah, what does this all mean for you? Chettinad isn't just another stop on a tour. It's this triumphant reminder that heritage can still astonish, it can inspire, and it can welcome you right into its story. It really is an invitation to become part of a living tapestry, to experience an India that's both vanished and somehow vibrantly alive right now.
And this really brings up an important question for us to think about, doesn't it? In a world that's always chasing the next new thing, often valuing speed over maybe substance, what enduring lessons can we draw from a culture that built such a monumental legacy? Not on conquest, not on fleeting trends, but on the trust of a word and the sustained ambition of generations focused on trade. Something to ponder.
That's a great thought to end on. What an incredible journey we've taken today, diving deep into the world of Chettinad and its merchant kings. If you decide to travel to Chettinad or elsewhere in India, we do have a recommendation. Five Senses Tours organizes tours across India, which are immersive cultural experiences. You can email contact@fivesensestours.com. Note 5 is written as a numeral in contact at fivesensestours.com. Or you can WhatsApp them at +919 84567 7446. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.